Welcome to Core Finance. I'm joined by Matt Brown. Morning, young Matt.
Good morning.
Right, let's kick off with the market headlines. Markets showing small positives, but focus still on the Fed. Well, is a small positive another closing high on Wall Street?
Well, yeah, Wall Street performing very, very well. We've got the S&P above 2,500 onwards and upwards. Tech stocks sold off a little bit overnight, but the banks, financials performing well in the US. Japan trading up higher in Asia this morning. They had a holiday yesterday, playing a little bit of catch up. But as I say, all eyes to the Fed. Meeting starts today, obviously announcement tomorrow. We'll see how that pans out. But it's really tentatively pushing higher with the markets. It doesn't feel that kind of bullish strength. Euphoria, but moving to the upside, not moving to the downside, but not really going anywhere, and volumes are fairly light at the moment.
Right, let's talk about a FTSE 100 company. One to watch, Morrisons, since 1899, a firm favourite in my household. I like a Morrison shop.
Well, I'll tell you, I've never really had a supermarket near me. However, I did use Amazon Prime delivery on Sunday, delivered within 1 hour from Morrisons. So Morrisons have got a tie-up with Amazon. There hasn't really been that much news about that, and I think it's kind of, they're developing that relationship, but it's an important relationship actually to have food delivered within an hour as opposed to a day or 2 days. Very good, very well priced, so I was very surprised. That will be my tea and supper for the rest of the week. But Morrisons have had an update. Kantar have basically said, look, they're performing well, their sales are up about 2.4% in comparison to last year. Tesco's as well, performing well, but the likes of Aldi and Lidl are snapping at the heels of all the big supermarkets. £1 in every 8 is now spent in Lidl or Aldi, which is
that used to be the old statistic of Tesco's.
Exactly. So I mean, it's an incredible spend by them. That's £1 in 8 that's spent in supermarkets. Bear in mind, not in the country, and they're doing very well. We've had figures out from Ocado today. Slightly disappointed the market. Their revenue is up and sales up, but they're not performing as well, and their stock's down about 6%. So that whole sector is becoming interesting, and it's certainly supermarkets performing well, but the retail space, when you look at the bricks and mortar, we've got Toys R Us filing against bankruptcy or getting bankruptcy protection in the US. They're the second biggest toy seller in the US. Guess who the biggest is?
Tell me.
Amazon. So it just goes to show even the number 2 can't perform against Amazon in the US. So the whole market is changing. Amazon are in there with Whole Good Foods or whatever it's called, and as I say, with Morrisons. So that is an interesting space. We've got UK retail sales out on Wednesday, and let's see how we perform there.
Okay, let's talk AIM Securities. U Group PLC, that's not something I follow.
Yes, and I must confess, not a stock I follow either, but I picked it up this morning. They're trading up 14%. Now, what do? They provide gas and electricity to corporates. So not the retail market, the corporate market. So they're taking gas and electricity from the big suppliers, and they're selling on to corporates. They're packaging up, and they're basically a middleman. They're doing old-fashioned
agency broking.
And do you know what? Their revenues are up 400% year on year. They floated last year. The stock's up 15%, and it just goes to show if you're the middleman and you're efficient, you can perform well in these markets. There's still agency brokers, maybe not on trading floors, but in other areas, they're doing well.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's talk currencies, and you've put a commodity in there. Let's kick off with gold, safe haven.
Yes, it's trickled back. I mean, it got above 1,300 level, but it's trickled back, and this may be due to rate hikes coming from the Fed.
Or it might be back to Alessia Rastani's Elliott wave, as I recall, suggesting pulling back to the 1,300 area. Indeed. Worth watching that video.
Yes, indeed. I mean, the rhetoric has stepped down from North Korea and the US for the time being. We've seen that long gold trade unwind. As you say, maybe a pullback. We may have more to the upside to come, potentially a buying opportunity. And sterling, now we're looking at that, that's dropped below the 135 level. Mark Carney, there was a lot of expectation. He spoke in front of the IMF last night that he was going to be hawkish. Kelsey Parisi came out and wasn't a bigger hawk as many had expected. So the pound has retreated slightly, but obviously way above the resistance levels that we saw at the 134 level. There's going to be a lot of videos. We've done a lot of videos over recent weeks about where it can go from here. Certainly worth looking at.
Understood. Right, let's go to broker upgrades, downgrades. Stagecoach is the stock. The broker is Liberum, and new recommendation, a hold from a pre-rec of sell. Same price target.
Yeah, same price target. The stock was pushed up about 3%. It's trading around 165 this morning, so pushed up a little bit. But Liberum, I've highlighted in on this. This is buses and trains, and there's obviously regulation, deregulation, re-regulation going on, and it's a tough market to be in. However, Liberum have noted the yield on the stock is 7.7%. Not a bad yield, not a bad play. They don't really see too much upside, but if you're looking for yield in these markets, this could be a stock to look at.
Understood. Let's go to the core number, 16%. Now, to be fair, I've not read that number. That doesn't ring any bells for me.
Well, it ties in with the supermarkets, actually. This is the drop in Scotch egg sales in August. This is year on year.
Boom, boom.
What does that mean? Well, picnics. It was all due to the weather. We had a bad, not so
Dreadful
great
August.
It was a bit of a washout. Scotch egg sales down 16%. But what does that mean? We've got retail sales numbers due on Wednesday, so have a look at that. I think the bad weather in August may impact those numbers.
Let's wrap up with the economic calendar. In the US of A, 130-day housing starts and building permits. Well, I don't think that's going to shake the market. Right, final thoughts, a little bit dull.
A little bit dull, a little bit damp, like August. But again, we've got the Fed coming and we've got the German elections at the end of the week. There's going to be a lot coming through in the next few days to really.
And Theresa been on the soapbox later this
Theresa
week
May,
as well.
Yeah, Boris looking to put the reins on him. Boris Johnson's giving dumb blondes a bad name, so put up or shut up.
Matt, thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.